Hey guys, it's Melanie. Happy Thursday. I hope your day is off to a good start. Today I am really excited to share an eyeshadow tag collab with you. This is a tag that I believe was originally put out by Samantha March and another YouTuber by the name of Allie. I'm sorry, I don't remember her channel name, but I will of course list it down below in the description box. So I am partnering on this video with two other beautiful YouTubers who I'm very excited to share with you. The first is Cate from Cate The Great Beauty. You guys have heard me talk about her before. I think Cate is absolutely hysterical. I love her live streams. I love just her regular videos as well. If you're not subscribed to her, I find her to be absolutely hysterical and really entertaining to watch, and she's beautiful. She has this short pixie that I just admire because it just looks so easy. I've had my hair pretty short before, not quite as short as Cate's, but it's when I look at her and I see that beautiful face and her hair just really, it suits her so perfectly, and it just makes me wish that like I had the nerve to pull that off. I do not. I mean, I can take my hair pretty short, but not quite that short. But Cate's hysterical. If you're not subscribed to her, you have to. Her content is fantastic. And the second lady partnering on this video is Sara from BetterOffRed. I actually found Sara through Cate. So Sara is this beautiful, gorgeous, natural redhead. And her makeup is always flawless. Whenever I see her like post a picture on Instagram where she does like the red lip and like the liner look, I am just in awe because it's always perfect. One of the things that is probably not a super nice thing about me is when I see other people do winged liner and it doesn't like match up perfectly, for some reason the like perfectionist in me, like it just kind of drives me crazy and I want to like fix it. But Sara's eyeliner is always perfect. I don't know how she does it. I really admire that about her. There's lots of other things that I admire about her as well. She also has a great sense of humor. I think she leans more towards this like sarcasm, which I tend to lean towards. But I just find her content really relatable. She's so easy to watch. She's very concise. Her videos are just beautifully done. The lighting is amazing. Anyway, I could go on and on about Sara, but obviously if you're not subscribed to either of those two ladies, their information will be in the description box down below as well. And we are bringing you guys the eyeshadow palette tag today. So all three of us are doing this video. So after you're done with this one, go skip to the other ladies' channels and check them out. I'm going to pull up the questions right now. I'm going to try to be as concise as possible. You guys know that I can talk forever. By the way, if you're new here from either of the other ladies, I'm a talker. I'm gonna try to like keep it a little shorter today. We'll see if I can do it. And my phone doesn't want to recognize me. All right, so I've got the questions here, and there are a couple handfuls of questions, I think about 10 questions here. I have my palettes in front of me. I'm excited to share my brief stories about each of them. Let's dive into it. Okay, show your newest palette. So my newest palette to my eyeshadow collection is this guy right here, which is not a new release. This is the Marc Jacobs Provocateur palette. This has been out for a really long time, but I just recently finally purchased it. I was always thrown off by this pink, and then one day I was like, I can make that pink work. And I did. I also did a tutorial about it. I will link that video down below. But I love this palette, and I'm so glad that I finally decided to invest in it. I love Marc Jacobs eyeshadow formulas, so this one is no exception. By the way, when it comes to playing with makeup, eyeshadow is hands down my favorite. I used to have a massive, huge collection. I've whittled it down substantially over the last few years. It's still huge, but it's much more manageable than it used to be. All right, show your oldest palette. But I'm reading the questions down here. That's why I'm looking down. Okay, when looking through my collection, I think this is the oldest. I think. This is the Kat Von D Lady Bird palette. I don't even remember when this came out. I could have Googled it before filming, but honestly, my brain is a little fried right now, so I wouldn't have remembered anyway. But I think this is it. And this is a beautiful palette. I know there's all sorts of controversy around Kat Von D. She's actually no longer involved with the brand at all. She was completely bought out, which is why they changed the name to KVD Beauty. I don't know, whatever. Anyway, I have loved this palette as long as I've had it. It's really unique in the format. You can see there's some warm rusty tones over here, but also some cool tones. And then there's this really pretty blue in the middle. It's a great palette. It is one that someday when this gets to be too old and I have to toss it, it'll make me sad to toss this because this really is an absolutely lovely palette. I wish that I would have had the original Naked Urban Decay palette to share with you guys, but I decluttered that a while ago. That was definitely my first like foray, like it was for many of you back in the day, into like expensive eyeshadow palettes. So, but yeah, that went the way of the dodo a long time ago, and my phone keeps turning off. Come on, do me a favor here. All right, show your most expensive palette. I'm pretty sure it's this. Those of you that are not new to my channel, you know this is my life here. This is the Viseart Grand Pro 1. I don't have the Grand Pro 2, and I think there's a 3 as well. I don't have either of those, but this, the first one, the neutrals, the mattes, oh, I love this thing. I love this thing with all my heart. It was $150. It was $150 well spent. And I will spend it again in a heartbeat if I lose this, if I misplace it, if I accidentally drive over it with my car, it will get replaced like that. I use it so often. It's the best. I love this. This is my favorite eyeshadow formula right here. Of course, it's one of the more spendy ones. All right, show your most affordable palette. I think my most affordable, like, higher end palette is definitely my collection of these Smashbox Cover Shot eyeshadow palettes. These are 29 bucks, pretty affordable in eyeshadow land. And I love these. This one here is just the matte eye palette. I have several of these. You've seen me do tutorials with these. I love them. I think they're such great quality. I love the layout of them. They're compact, they're easy to travel with, but they're like a nice hard plastic. They're just fantastic for the price point. $29? Yes. Do these look really small? Yes. But let's be honest, you guys, when are you going to ever finish an entire eyeshadow palette? As far as I'm concerned, I would rather have eyeshadow palettes maybe be a little bit smaller, better curated, like something like this, than like something like this. I mean, what's going to be easier to travel with? This guy. All right. Oh, come on, phone. Okay. Show your everyday palette. We're going back to this. This is the one that I reach for the most often. When I look into my everyday makeup drawer and I'm looking at my eyeshadow palettes, default is always this because it's easy and it blends and it looks sophisticated and polished and pretty. And my looks with this eyeshadow palette always come out. So if I am just walking in here in the morning and I'm like, oh, what am I gonna do today? I just grab this and I'm good to go. I love it. I love it, you guys. Show your most colorful palette. So I am a neutral girl, and not neutral as in like classic YouTube sunset shades. I am neutral in like, I like cool toned neutral shades, not a lot of color. So I don't have a lot of colorful eyeshadow palettes. These are my most two colorful eyeshadow palettes here. I couldn't decide between the two because I think they're both pretty colorful. This is the Viseart Koi palette, and this is the Viseart Bijou Royale. I think these are both absolutely stunning. I don't reach for them the most because, again, I mean, this look right here is pretty indicative of what I tend to go for on a daily basis, but these are beautiful. If you're gonna work with colorful eyeshadows, you need colorful eyeshadows that blend beautifully, because there's nothing worse than an eyeshadow look that isn't blended, especially if it's a colorful one. I'm big on blending. That's kind of, I like a very diffused, natural, neutral eyeshadow look. But when I want color, both of these are the easiest to work with, hands down. Show your smallest palette. I think it's this guy. It's the Naked Basics 2 from Urban Decay. So this could have probably gone in the same place as this. I think these are around the same price point. I don't even remember what I paid for this. Anyway, this is one of the few Urban Decay eyeshadow palettes that I have left because this one's fantastic. If you've never picked this one up, the 1 is a little too warm for me. The 2 was right up my cool toned alley. I just feel like these types of shades work better with my gray hair. If you're new, this is my natural gray hair. I'm 41, but I went gray very early in life, so I'm just embracing it. That's my thing. And with this hair, cooler tones tend to look better. I can pull off some warm looks, but they're just not my favorite. But this one is probably my smallest as I was looking through. Your biggest palette. I think my biggest palettes are probably still these Lorac Pro, like Mega Pro palettes. This one here is the very first one. This used to be my favorite eyeshadow formula for the longest time. I own 3 of these. I think I have this one, I'm just gonna grab them and show them to you guys, the white one and the pink one. So these Pro palettes are definitely the largest that remain in my collection. Before this, it was a lot of my like limited edition holiday palettes from like Tarte and Too Faced. Too Faced is notorious for massive, huge, ridiculous packaging for eyeshadow palettes during the holidays. So anyway, I think that those are probably my biggest palettes. Show your palette with the best memory. Okay, so I just randomly grabbed this one. It's another Viseart, but I could also show you, I think one of these palettes, the Cashmere Theory palette I got as well. Yeah, I think it was Cashmere Theory. That's the row going across here. The Theory palettes were just 6-pan palettes. They came in this packaging right here. I obviously depotted mine, stuck them in here. But my memory around these specific things from Viseart are that they were sent to me as PR by Viseart, which kind of means a lot to me. My channel, I don't have a lot, I certainly get a fair amount of PR, I'll be honest about that. But that being said, usually it's from smaller companies. Viseart, when I first started buying their products, they had no idea who I am. And then I think they came across a couple of my YouTube channels where I was talking about them, and they reached out and have sent me a couple of PR items. And the Cashmere Theory palette, and this was one of them. And it just really made me happy when I received those packages because I wasn't expecting them. It's not like I got something in my email that said, hey, this is Viseart, we're sending you a PR package. They would just randomly show up on my doorstep, and usually it was on days where I was kind of having a rough day, either with a wedding client or something was happening, and just this package would show up from Viseart, and it just meant the world to me because, like I said, my channel is a smaller, very slow growing channel, and the fact that a major company like that would recognize me and offer or just send me something was pretty dang cool. So anyway, that's just a very happy kind of YouTube related memory for me when it comes to some of these eyeshadows. So yeah, a big thanks to Viseart for taking the time to recognize a somewhat smaller channel. So thank you so much. I don't want to say my channel is like crazy small, but at the same time, it's a very, I mean, it's a slow growth. Let's be honest, and it's fine. I love what I do here. It is just for fun. So, but it does make me really happy sometimes when, you know, a major brand like that would reach out and offer to send me something. Okay. So, show a palette worth the hype. So back when the Anastasia Modern Renaissance palette came out, it was so hyped up. It took me a little while to bite, but when I finally did, I was like, this is 100% worth the hype. I still think this is one of like the most lovely eyeshadow palettes. The rosy shades in here, even though a lot of them are a lot warmer than what I tend to gravitate towards, I just think overall, when this first came out, it was 100% worth the hype. I still love this palette. I still reach for it sometimes, and it's one that I would absolutely replace. I think this is probably one of the best. I think this was one of their first as well. I know that they did some other like collaborations as well before they started going this route, but this one still for me is for sure hands down amazing. Show a palette that was not worth the hype. Okay, so I picked this, but really it's more of like a theme when it comes to Tarte palettes. This was a limited edition holiday collection, I think. What I just in general don't think is worth the hype is any of the hype that the Tarte holiday collections get, because these eyeshadows are not great. They're really not. They're very powdery. They're not easy to blend. They're not as pigmented. They just, I don't know. I still keep this because I love the two blushes that are in here, but I have to admit, I mean, these are barely touched. Like, so yeah, I think a lot of the limited edition stuff isn't necessarily worth the hype from Tarte. I'd rather spend my money on the Tarte products that are more like core line pieces, like their Amazonian clay blushes, fabulous. Some of their more permanent eyeshadow collections that they've had out, like the Tartelette, I still have in my collection, but that quality is very different from what comes in this. So that's why this is the only one that I have left from like my limited edition Tarte stuff. Show your favorite palette from a favorite brand. Okay, I'm going back to this one a lot. You've already heard me say that this is definitely my hands down favorite go-to. But if I would say another one, the Viseart Paris palette. This is just gorgeous, you guys. If you don't have this one, these are $39, so a little bit less expensive for a Viseart. And yes, they're small, but again, when are you gonna finish this whole eyeshadow palette? It's gonna take you years, let's be honest. So if you want to give them a go, but you're looking for the least expensive Viseart option, that is fantastic. I would try these smaller palettes of theirs. The Spritz Edit is this guy right here, which is also really nice, but obviously very different from this. This is very warm. This one, admittedly, I probably would not have purchased myself. I did purchase this. This one came as PR, but I can make it work for me. It's just, I don't like the warmer looks, but they're gorgeous. And then the very last question is, show us your most used. I know, it's not exciting, you guys, and it's really is a boring palette when you're looking at it. It's all mattes, but just the tiniest dip in any of these colors. I use these darker shades as liners. I use these kind of in this section as like my everyday go-to for a quick crease and lid shade. Just these purpley pinks and oranges I don't play with a whole lot, but they are kind of just fun to have. But I love this thing. And it still looks almost brand new. That's the incredible thing to me. I use this so much, but you just need like a dip. This isn't one of those palettes where you feel like you have to take your brush and like, you know, like get product on there and then tap it off. Like, I don't have to do that with the Viseart formula, and I love it. I love it. So that is that's the tag, you guys. So make sure that you go check out Sara as well as Kate's videos. They will be linked down below for you. Both ladies are so lovely, and I'm loving watching their channels grow. I just think they deserve so many more subscribers, so I hope that you'll take the time to go and check them out. Leave me any questions down below. I will put links for all of these palettes, what's still available anyway, in the description box down below as well. And I appreciate you guys taking the time to watch. If you're new, I hope that you'll take the time to subscribe. Otherwise, thanks for being here anyway, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.